Hey guys, welcome to Get Into the Facts. I'm your host, Andrew Curiel, and I'm excited to get into the topics we're going over today. I don't know if you guys really been paying attention, but I know I have just because I got to these days. But the biggest thing that's going on in the world right now is this Ukraine-Russia war that's going on, right? And I really wanted to bring it up. Not because I feel like you guys need to pay attention to world politics, but because the United States and our taxpayer money is heavily, very, very heavily funding this war. And I don't remember the last time that we had Congress or anybody that we, the people, elected that really voted on this much money going to go to this war. So I just want to get a couple facts to show you guys and kind of give you an unbiased view of this war and why Russia decided to invade Ukraine and Crimea and do all this stuff. It's not as black and white as the media is trying to proclaim. Putin's definitely not as crazy as the media is really trying to proclaim as well, that he's just this tyrant dictator, which he definitely is with certain things. But him invading Ukraine isn't as crazy as it seems. So we're going to get into it. I got some cool stuff to show you guys. So let's take a look here first. I wanted to show this map because this map really shows the border of Russia, and it shows, based on this little key, it shows all the members of NATO and when they joined, the years that they joined in different colors, and just the progression towards Russia's border that NATO's done over the years. Okay. As we can see, founding members, they're just right on the outskirts. Really not a problem. That's why Russia really didn't have a problem. And really, it was the Soviet Union then that didn't have the problem. And then joined NATO from 1950 to 1996 is a little bit darker red. Well, not darker red, but it's lighter than the maroon. And those weren't really close either. These two right here, these two at the bottom, or right in the middle, and the one here on the left bottom, those were definitely closer to the 1950-ish, 1970-ish era. The one that's really close to Russia's southeastern border, I guess you could say, or south border, that one got added a lot closer to the 1991-1996 area. So that matters because the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. So that it was like once they collapsed, like, oh well, then all this kind of goes out the window. So that's really why I wanted to get into it here. And then join in 2023. We just included Finland this year into NATO. Which is directly, I mean, guys, is directly on Russia's border. Like, it's almost like we're trying to play games with Vladimir Putin. We're really trying to see what's gonna push his buttons. It's like your girl just getting up. She knows you're upset, and she knows exactly what buttons to push to make you even more upset. And you keep saying, why are you mad? Why are you mad? And they keep saying, oh, I'm not mad. But you keep pushing those buttons, and eventually you're going to get pissed off. And that was the one thing Russia didn't want. They just didn't want a NATO alliance that they are not a part of to keep encroaching on Russia's border, which for a country, it's completely understandable. Like, we would not be okay if someone tried encroaching their way and bringing, like, let's say Russia decided to form an alliance and they got Mexico and Canada to get a part of that alliance, which obviously won't happen. But I'm just saying, if it did, we would definitely be upset with that, and we would retaliate. And I don't know which way we would retaliate, but we would definitely retaliate for that. So I don't think based on this, it really shows that it's not as crazy that Russia decided to say we've had enough, as the media has been proclaiming. So let's go back a little bit, though. I wanted to show this here and I just found this. The only reason I'm going off chathamhouse.org is because it's a .org website, and I trust those a lot more than .com ones. That's for sure. So what I wanted to show here is this. In July 1990, when it was the Soviet Union, the Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev agreed to a united Germany's incorporation into NATO. So they agreed to Germany's incorporation into NATO, which is, I mean, that's good. I mean, all right, cool. So we got the agreement. That's fine. The U.S. Secretary of State at the time, James Baker, had previously told Gorbachev that NATO's jurisdiction would not move beyond the inner German border. But Washington retreated from this position after examining the practicalities of part of Germany being outside the alliance, which I honestly don't know why they would even say, oh, well, we won't go past the inner border of Germany. That makes no sense. You have to include the whole country or not. So, I mean, I could see that falling apart. As part of the deal reached by Gorbachev and the West German Chancellor Helmut Kohl, no forces of other NATO countries could be deployed on former German Democratic Republic territory until after Soviet forces had left, and then only temporarily. There would also be no deployments of nuclear weapons. All that's reasonable, especially in a treaty like this. That's completely reasonable. What's weird, though, is right down here. However, Gorbachev neither asked for nor was given any formal agreements that there would be no further expansion of NATO beyond the territory of United Germany. The issue was not even under discussion at NATO at the time, since the Warsaw Pact and the USSR were both still in existence. So they went based off basically a handshake, saying that they don't want to move past Germany when it comes to NATO. They're not going to go any more eastern than Germany when it comes to that. But that was back when when Russia was the Soviet Union. Okay, there was a little bit more, I guess, diplomacy when it comes to the Soviet Union on that. So even if the Warsaw Pact's days were clearly numbered, there was no expectation in Western capitals in the autumn of 1990 that the USSR would collapse a year later. So it's all like, okay, we make this deal, and a year later, Soviet Union collapses, and everyone's like, whoa, they collapsed that quick? Well, all right, let's just keep moving. So the disappearance of the USSR created an entirely different geopolitical reality that quickly exposed differences between Western countries and Russia on how to manage European security and the role of NATO. And from the end of 1993, Russian diplomacy voiced increasing opposition to NATO's further enlargement, but accepted that it could not stop the process. Its chief lament was that several leaders of NATO countries in early 1990 had ruled out the possibility of NATO enlargement. That's pretty big. So what this really seems to me is all the leaders and the people in NATO talked when they were talking with the Soviet Union about this and talking with Russia afterwards. They seemed to like agree, like, we're not going to keep moving eastward. But there was never a formal agreement. There was never a document signed saying we will not at all. Because if it's in writing, then it's concrete. Then obviously, but I don't know what diplomacy goes on. I don't know how you could have a diplomatic relations with another country that has difference of opinion with you if you can't have informal discussions and meetings behind closed doors, and have agreements behind closed doors that aren't actually in writing. It seems like diplomacy wouldn't really matter at that point if we aren't going to hold those talks with our leaders and the leaders of Russia, if we're not going to hold that to account. So it's just this. There's a lot of context when it comes to this encroaching on Russia's border. I just don't. At the end of the day, guys, I really just don't understand how we can say that Putin is just this crazy guy that just invaded Ukraine for no reason, just because they wanted to expand. They didn't just want to expand. Honestly, I feel like I mean, they want Crimea. I can tell you that they definitely do because of that water port, and just for their distribution of their imports and bringing in exports and all that, or bringing in imports and putting out the exports. Sorry, but I feel like we just have been getting gaslit in the United States about this whole thing. And that's something that I don't like. I got lied to a lot, growing up, and that's one thing that I hate is I don't need my politicians to just give me BS all the time and just gaslight me. That's just not the way to go, especially in a free country like the United States. We shouldn't have propaganda in our news. We should have news, not propaganda at all. So that's my problem, and especially since our president said that we're just protecting Ukraine. We are just protecting their sovereignty. We're not trying to get them to take Russia out. We're giving them weapons, defensive weapons only. That was the whole thing. It was just going to be defensive weapons. And we go back to this article on the New York Post where President Biden on Friday defended his decision to veto the U.S. facilitated transfer of fighter jets to Ukraine to repel Russia's invasion, saying that's called World War III. And go down to the quote. The idea that we're going to send in offensive equipment and have planes and tanks and trains going in with American pilots and American crews. Just understand. Don't kid yourself. No matter what y'all say, that's called World War III. Guys, we're sending Abram tanks. We sent them fighter jets. We have American troops in the NATO bordering countries of Russia, bordering Russia, that are training these Ukrainian fighters and are helping with intel. This is exactly what he said would be the start of World War III. So honestly, for Putin to not flat out say we are at war with the United States and NATO is kind of crazy. Like, that kind of shows you he's not just this erratic dictator. He's not. He's really he's kind of giving it some time to simmer and see, like, okay, is this going to be a is this long term? Like, what is really going on? What is their strategy when it comes to this? But I'm going to tell you right now, as a United States citizen, when our president goes from saying, if we send tanks and offensive equipment, military equipment, and fighter jets, that's the start of World War III, and we're doing that, that's worrying, because when he was saying this, he was making it seem like we're never going to send that. What are you talking about? It's just defensive. We're just sending defensive military equipment, and it's all BS. Absolute all BS. And I don't think the average American person is really understanding that, which is something that we definitely do, and we need to be upset about it. And one other thing that we need to be upset about, because like I told you the other day in one of the episodes, if we can't come together on anything, we should be able to come together when it comes to our money. And we should be in agreement that at least have Congress vote on the money that's getting sent to Ukraine and the military equipment that's getting sent to Ukraine. And we're not having any of that. Just to show you how much money we've been sending to Ukraine since the beginning of this war. According to the Council on Foreign Relations, since the war began, the administration, Biden administration, and the U.S. Congress have directed more than $75 billion in assistance to Ukraine, which includes humanitarian, financial, and military support, according to the Kiel Institute for the World Economy. Guys, $75 billion of taxpayer money we have sent to Ukraine. I don't remember anybody voting on this. I don't remember anybody ever going to Congress and saying we need to approve this money going over there. We're just fleshing it out. And I just don't understand. Like, all that's doing, they're printing this money. This money is not just sitting there. They're printing more of it, which is going to make inflation go up. You can't just keep printing money and expect inflation to go down or stay the same. It's not, because you're putting more money into the economy. You're flooding the economy with more money, but it's actually not going into our economy. It's going over to Ukraine. This is for Ukraine. This isn't even money that they're printing to push into the economy to boost the economy. This is doing nothing for the American people at all, at all. And I think that's the most irritating thing, is the average person doesn't understand that. The average person doesn't get that. And I just would love to know if we can send, and I won't be able to look it up, but if we can send 75 billion to Ukraine, why the hell can we not get clean water in Flint, Michigan? Why? Why can't we fix all of our infrastructure in the United States? Why can't we help fix up our inner cities and put big money into our inner cities? If we're able to just send 75 billion since the beginning of this war, which I think has only been a year and a half, I think we can look that up real quick. How long? Boom. Let's see. No, not that one. Yeah, so from an article on PBS, February of 2023, 1 year roughly. So yeah, guys, it's just been a little over a year and we've sent 75 billion. 75 freaking billion. I'm just going to tell you right now, guys. I'm going to tell you right now. This administration, and again, I'm an independent, okay? I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I really think there's logical things on both sides that both sides argue, and I appreciate that. But right now, this administration is doing nothing to help the American people. We're sending money to Ukraine, 75 billion. Guys, there's no other country that's even close to how much they're sending over to help with this Ukraine-Russia war. And that shows you this is really like a war between Russia and the U.S. at the end of the day, which that's concerning. We don't want that, especially with China about to take over Taiwan. That's going to happen soon too. And I don't even know what's going to happen there. Are we going to do anything? Probably not. So guys, I just want to make sure we're informed when it comes to this. This sort of thing is real important to make sure that we stay on top of, because again, this is our taxpayer money. This is our money that they're just giving out to everywhere. I mean, don't even remind me about the spending bill during Trump's administration, where he pointed out the ridiculousness that they included in the spending bill $10 million to Pakistan for gender studies. Okay, so it's waste of resources. It's waste of our money, and they don't care that it's our taxpayer money. They're using us for this war. This is nothing that the American people wanted. Nothing at all. We just didn't want Russia to keep going at Ukraine, but now Ukraine is on the offensive. They're attacking Russian cities. So it's concerning, guys. We just got to pay attention. We got to know what the hell's going on, and that's why I wanted to start this podcast. So I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys liked the facts that I was able to show you, and that map that really shows you how close NATO's been getting to Russia's border. Because it shows you that Putin's not as crazy as the media has been trying to proclaim. Not saying that he's not a dictator. Not saying that I like him. I don't like him. He's done a lot of bad things. But our government is gaslighting us, and I'm tired of it. I didn't like it when my parents gaslit me, and I don't like it when my government is gaslighting me. So just got to stay informed, guys. All right, but enjoy your day. Stay blessed. Please hit that subscribe button. Press the like button if you like the content today. Put a comment down below too. If you have anything that you'd like to say about it, if you have anything to add. I always like to make sure I have all the info that I can possibly get. So I'm always trying to learn, guys. So keep me up to date if I haven't given enough info. But I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Yeah.